Hi, hello, welcome. My name is Bethany. Welcome to my channel where I talk about my knits and any other bits that I feel like. I'm coming to you from Northern Ontario, Canada, today where it is very bright, so the lighting might be weird. Apologies in advance, but we're gonna run with it. This is another project update video. We're going to talk about everything I've knit basically in the month of August, which is some stuff, but actually not a ton. I finished a bunch of stuff, but maybe not as much as I thought I might. So let's get right into it. Let's start with finished objects. My first finished object, sort of in no particular order. We're not going chronological or anything like that. Oh, before I get started, I meant to talk about what I'm wearing. This is my striped version of the Party Top Crop by Abby Knits, and I will link it below. Basically, to my I will link the pattern and I will link my Ravelry page for this, just explaining how I did the stripes. And I love it. This is one of my favorite transitional pieces, but really I wear it basically in the fall and winter because it's DK weight, so it's just enough of a layer to keep me cozy, and even though it's a little warmer today, I'm still cozy vibes forever. Yeah, so let's talk about my first finished object. This is, let's put it here, this is the Whitehorn Cowl by Megan Nodecker, and or Pip and Pin, and let's just do this so you can see the whole thing. I'll also throw it on. I won't keep it on for long, but this is my second of this style of cowl, and I love it because, as you can see, it sits really nicely around the neck, and it's also kind of triangular shaped, so it fits so nicely in the V of your jacket, whether you've got a zipper jacket or a button jacket that only goes to here. I think it's great. This one turned out, after blocking, a little looser around the neck than I might prefer, but I do like that there's enough fabric that I can sort of just bunch it in, and then also when I do up my coat, it will sort of stay closer to the neck. So I'm really happy with that. This was knit out of a skein of La Bien-Aimée DK yarn, and the color was Drogon. And I talked about this as a future project in a previous video, but now it's done. I really, really recommend this if you're looking for a triangle-shaped cowl situation. I don't know, I'll hold it up here. There's also eyelet details right at the V, because you do spend a fair amount of time knitting this flat before you join in the round to basically knit the back neck. As you can see here, there's a nice little faux seam situation here, which I think is a really nice detail. The pattern also shows, and hopefully I've popped a picture up from the project page. There's also a tassel at the bottom to sort of hold down the V, or the point of the cowl. I haven't done that for either of mine, mostly because I figure with my luck I'd get that tassel stuck in my zipper, or it would just come off while I'm wearing it inside my coat. So I kind of don't trust that. So that is why I don't put the tassel on, which means that there's a little extra yarn to make this longer. This is, I did a few more repeats of the pattern than is usually recommended, which I think is totally fine because I love using up a full skein of something. Okay, let's move on. Basically, not the rest of this. The next few things are going to be socks, because I finished a lot of socks. So, I finished my Starfall socks, and I believe it's Natural Knit who designed these. If I'm wrong, the pattern photo will correct me. And this is knit out of some locally dyed yarn by Art by Anna, who is in fact still dyeing. I was incorrect when I said that in a previous podcast. Of course, I said I wasn't sure. turns out she's still dying, which is wonderful. So these are glorious and pink. And I also knit these as part of the Charm City Unicorns Pink Along. This might be the only thing I get done for the Pink Along, even though the Pink Along goes for a while. And I think there's still time to join. The idea is you just knit something pink. It's like the easiest knit along or make along you've ever participated in, because as long as it's pink, it counts. So I was really happy with how these turned out. They blocked out gorgeous because, of course, with ribbing, as you can see here in the leg and on the top of the foot, ribbing can really scrunch in before it's been blocked out. So they look funny when they come off the needles. But they blocked out lovely. They're very squishy too, and I'm really happy with that. So yeah, looking forward to wearing these when the temperature actually does cool down enough to be wearing wool socks full time. The next pair of socks is dun, da, da, da. I feel like these blocked out a little funny, but that's okay. It might just be the stitch pattern on the top. These are Mermaid Avenue socks by Summerlee. And I forgot my water bottle, so I can't take a drink, but you better hydrate because I said her name. Yeah, and this is knit in Full Moon Fibers Solar Sock yarn in the colorway Winter Mint, and I just love how it turned out with the texture and the color. Again, I feel like they blocked out funny, but that's okay. Yeah, so again, these are because of the texture on the leg and the top of the foot, just like the Starfall socks, they looked a little funny coming off the needles, and I sort of feel like that sort of maybe followed through with the blocking, but they are so squishy and lovely. To me, these are definitely, for me anyway, more of a bed sock, or like only wear these at home. Probably not going to try to fit them into shoes or boots just because they are that squishy and thick feeling. But I love how fun and cheerful they are. So I was really pleased to finish those. Last pair of socks for today are these. This was my sock tube set that I had bought from Full Moon Fibers. Again, it's a Full Moon Fibers show. Not really, but close. And this is, take a drink again. This is the August pattern for the Cuff Club Volume 2 from Summerlee. And yeah, I just incorporated that cuff, and I'll hold one up because it'll probably be easier. The mini cable cuff was the one that I did. I made my cuffs a little bit shorter. I was nervous about not having enough for the toe for both socks. So I only did 1, 2, 3 repeats of the mini cable pattern, and I hope it's not blowing out too much. Let me hold it up there. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so it was an adventure. I will say that, knitting on a sock tube, because I had never done it before. Huge shout out to, I believe it's Lift Bridge Yarns or something like that. I will link their tutorial below. It's a series of videos talking about how to, knit a pair of socks from a sock tube. And it was super helpful. I sort of did things a little bit out of order because I was trying to basically knit the socks concurrently so that I didn't run out of my contrast colors. I shouldn't have worried. It was fine. But yeah, huge shout out to them with that tutorial series. So if you're looking to knit from a sock tube for the first time and you don't have in-person help for that, which I didn't, then check that out. And I did do an afterthought heel, my first proper afterthought heel. I think it turned out not too badly. And I just followed their video talking about afterthought heels. I did have to look up a specific afterthought heel, and I can't think of it now where I got it from, because they just give you in the tutorial, Lift Bridge just gives you instructions about how to like cut open the sock tube and pick up for your afterthought heel. But the actual instructions for the afterthought heel I got elsewhere. And if I remember, editing me, if I remember to look up which heel I did, I will link it below if possible, or I will like put it up here on the screen where I did that. Okay, so that was it for socks. Let's move on to my last finished object, which is, let's turn it this way. It is it's hard to get it all on screen, and I really should have wore it for the effect. But this is my Théo Linier top, knit out of Fleece Artist sock yarn in the color Twilight. And so 2 different skeins, definitely not of the same dye lot, and you could definitely tell when I was knitting it. So this is the top that is basically 2 large rectangles knit on a big needle, and then sewn together at the shoulder, and then also along the, like, essentially what is the bottom of the sleeve or the bottom hem, however you'd like to think of it. But basically there's a hole for your neck and a bigger hole at the bottom for the rest of your body. And I really enjoyed knitting this on big needles. It felt like I went really fast. So this is here, maybe is that better? I don't know if that's better. We'll just do this. This is the side that I prefer as the front. I feel like the skein had more variety or variegation to it, but I will show you the back. This is what the back looks like. You can see that there's more pooling in it. But I like it. It still looks fine. It fits nicely, although you might notice, I was holding it up here, I do have a couple of stitch markers just here in the neck, because I wore it for the first time the other day, and the neck is definitely too wide. So I do need to go back in and just sew up another couple of, well, maybe an inch on each side, to bring the sort of the neck seam, I guess, closer in, because I really felt like it was shifting a lot, and not in a nice way. It was bothering me. The width of the neck opening was really bothering me. So I will have to go in and sort of massage that a little bit. But otherwise, I'm really happy. I would love to knit another one of those out of a plant fiber for next summer and just see how much I would wear that, because this one is 100% wool, which I think will be a great layering piece at this time of year, because, like, you know, it could be warm, it could be cool, whatever, you need to cover up your shoulders and arms. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to finding some plant fiber yarn to knit that up in, and so we'll see if that happens in future. Let's move on to works in progress. The first work in progress I'm going to show is the Thistle Thorn Cowl by Lavanya Petrosella. I really hope I'm saying that right. I feel like I stumble on it every single time. And I have some done. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but I've been working on it, you know, bits at a time. And it is curling pretty badly, so I apologize that you won't be able to see the full thing because I haven't blocked it or anything. So I'll just hold it up so that you can see the absolutely gorgeous stitch pattern that is in here. I love it. And I know that, like, when you look at this, you think, oh my gosh, that looks like really complicated color work. You know, there must be 1,000 floats in the back. There aren't, because it's all slipped stitches. So, like, shout out to Lavanya for, like, yeah, you're not having to do floats. It's just all slip stitches. That's the back. Even the back looks pretty good, you know? And I will show you my yarns that I have caked up. So I did talk about this as a future plan in a previous video. So I am using the yarns that I talked about. This is Louette Gems Sport Weight in the color navy as my solid color, and then I am using Spin Cycle, is it Dyed in the Wool? Dyed in the Wool in the colorway Nevuary. Really easy to say. So let's just show that. And I do love how the color change is coming through on the, again, I'm sorry because it's curling, but I don't know if you can sort of tell on camera that like there's just a very gradual sort of ombre color change through the Dyed in the Wool, and I think it's very, very effective, and I'm very pleased, and I'm like kind of already planning another one. So yeah, the pattern is very clear so far. I was really nervous that like, oh, this looks like complicated color work. Like, am I going to be struggling? But blessed be, there's only 2 yarns to worry about. No bobbins, no catching floats, nothing like that. I do still have to pay attention to make sure that I'm on the right row so that I slip or knit the correct thing in the correct order, because otherwise you can really tell when you've messed one up, right? When you've messed up one of these little thistle stitches, like you could really tell if you've put the wrong yarn in the wrong place. But I'm really happy with how that's going, and theoretically, like it's gonna look something like that. So I'm really, really pleased with how that's going. Slow but steady progress on that one. Hopefully I will have that done while there's still cooler weather on the horizon. Oh my gosh, that's gonna fall down. I'll just put it back there. Okay, my second work in progress is a cardigan. Hooray! This is one that I've talked about for a long time, or at least many times. Yeah, so it is just, sorry, it's a production down here. Okay, so this is, I've only just split for body and sleeves, so it's a bit of a tangle. Yeah, okay, good enough. This is the Mender's Cardigan by Brienne Moody, and I have knit a couple of these. I have my original Mender's cardigan I've worn a couple times on the podcast and mentioned a couple times on the podcast. Actually, if you want more details on my first Mender's cardigan, check out my fall knitting plans video. I'll link it because I talk about it sort of towards the end of the video. Because I'm also wearing a different version of the Mender's cardigan in that video, which is what precipitates me talking about it. So this is my third one. This is, the yarn I'm using is Less Traveled yarns in the colorway Forest Floor. And I really like how it's turning out. I feel like in real life it looks less pink and more mauve purple. But it could just be the lighting in here. So yeah, this is knit in reverse stockinette. TBD on whether it stays that way when I finish it, because I'll call it my fall version of the Mender's cardigan, which I wear in my fall plans video. I flipped it inside out, so that the stockinette side was showing out when I finished it. So as it is, I'm following the pattern exactly, knitting it in reverse stockinette, etc. I'm playing fast and loose with my gauge again, friends. It's like, it's going to be good though, because I do want it to be slightly oversized. I like the fabric that I'm getting with the needles that I'm using, which is a 4.5 millimeter. I tried it on 4 millimeter, which is what I have knit with previously, and the fabric felt too stiff. I kind of hated working on it, and I was like, that's not good enough. I need to enjoy actually working on it and not just enjoy the finished product. So my sizing is a little off. I'm following the directions for size M1, which is basically what I have knit every single time, because the bust measurement for M1 is close to my upper bust, which is what I'm using to choose my size. And so I do know that it's going to turn out differently. So it'll be really interesting to go along and do that. I was a little bit let's call it creative, when I was finishing the raglan increases and finishing the front and back increases before splitting for the sleeves and body. And I'm making notes all the way through, so if you want details on that, obviously I will talk about it when the project is finished, but I will also link my Ravelry project, because I'm usually pretty good about adding notes like that. Truly, it's mostly for myself so that when I go to knit this again, because I most likely will, if I like how that garment fits, I want to know what I did, right? Because past me, she's not going to remember, because it could be like a whole year before I cast that particular thing on again. So yeah, that's going very well. I'm now on the body, so it's just back and forth with the body, and hopefully that will go along at a good pace, and then I can also have that for when the cooler weather really arrives. This is normally the part where I say, oh, let's talk about what I'm thinking of knitting next, but actually I'm not going to do that in this video. Instead, I'm actually going to point you towards my fall knitting plans video, which I've already said I'm going to link, and I'm doing that because basically that list of items is what I'm choosing from to possibly knit next, right? So yeah. So there's no what's next section in this video. So that basically wraps it up for today. Short and sweet, and I hope that's okay. Yeah, we all got stuff to do, and I have somewhere to be. So, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. And until the next video, keep those stitches moving.